I'm going to show you how to turn this into this. When people see this for the first time, whether they're 2 years old or 102, they're just blown away with the magic of the process. The whole age of metalworking really only starts about 12,000 years ago. So when you think there's been humans on Earth for 2 million years, it's really recent in our history that we start to do anything with metal. I like, as far as I can, getting back into the mindset of the people of 12,000 years ago when they first started learning this wonderful craft that would absolutely transform the world we all live in. What we're going to be doing today is my personal passion, the smelting process. And it sounds a little bit like melting, but it's this one-way process of turning rock into metal. The first step in the process we're going to do, we need to create a little enclosure, a little furnace in which we can do the smelting. If you can just gently pump the bellows, and I'll see where we've got air leaking around the base. There are a couple of aspects to turning rock into metal. We need the heat and we need a lack of oxygen. And if we have too many holes in the temporary furnace structure we've built, the process just isn't going to work. The rock will change colour, but it's never going to become metal. That's looking pretty good, I think. So we need to grind up a tiny little bit of charcoal first. It's actually wood that's been put through a distillation process. So you get the wood incredibly hot, but without having oxygen present. And because there's no oxygen present, it can't actually burn. You just cook it, and you're cooking all the stuff out. If it's shiny, then it means there's still resins and stuff from the wood coming out and they haven't finished the charcoaling process. If you're still seeing brown colour in it, it's what's called a brown end, so it's not finished charcoaling again. So it should be a nice uniform dull black colour. And the other final test of whether it's good charcoal or not is, can you break it easily apart with your fingers? And if you can, then it's good charcoal. So as long as you've got good charcoal, you can get a tremendous amount of heat out of it. To get you going was to break up some pieces of charcoal to the right size and just dump them there. And it's a very effective little hammer for grinding things up with. Empty that out into the bowl. Next thing up will be to break the malachite down. You do tend to find with this stuff, as it breaks, that it flies everywhere. Even in modern times, the ores, they're expensive things. And in the past, they would have been expensive in different ways because people would probably have had to travel some way to find them or to trade them from far off places. And talking about Britain here, all of the interesting rocks that can be turned to metal are all on the western side. The nearest rocks you could turn into copper are probably 75, 80 miles away. So there's a big effort involved in obtaining these things in the first place, and they're very precious. You want to make sure you don't waste them. For the crucible, what we want to do is to have some powdered charcoal to mix in with the malachite, and that will help the chemical reaction. It's going to produce carbon monoxide gas. Carbon can have 2 lots of oxygen attached to it, and the malachite is copper, but there's also water and oxygen in there. And what we want is the carbon monoxide gas to grab the oxygen out of here and become carbon dioxide gas. We'll get rid of the water in the extreme heat there, we'll strip out the oxygen. It's only trace amounts of other things, but the rest of it is really just copper, and that's what we should hopefully be left with in the crucible. So we'll do the filling of the crucible, and then it's 40 minutes non-stop action. The crucible potentially is going to be taken up to almost 1400 centigrade. That's a terrific amount of heat, and it's only when I use a crucible for the first time that I find out how well it's been made and how well it will handle the heat. It could explode dramatically and shower the stuff everywhere, and we'll only find out when we use it for the first time. I'm liking the way the air's travelling through the charcoal. It sounds really nice. Very easy breathing furnace. Makes me optimistic that we're going to have a very good smelt today. I think we're ready to go for it. We've given it a few minutes, the crucible hasn't popped, so it's clearly happy being sat in the heat. Right, fill it completely. So if you look at the flame colour that's appearing on the surface of the charcoal, you see it's that kind of violet colour, that sickly violet colour. Well, that's evidence for carbon monoxide gas being produced. You'd never want to see that if you were cooking on a gas stove at home or something. You'd never want to see a flame of that colour. That would be an excuse to get out the house and get someone out, because you've got a serious problem. But we need to produce the carbon monoxide gas because it's that that's going to break down the malachite and let us get to the copper metal that's locked inside those ores. If you can put a capping of small charcoal on top of the furnace and just help to seal it in a bit and make it easier to get reducing conditions with very low oxygen in there.
Oh wow, look at that green flame.
This is a very important part of the process. We're up to temperature. All that green flame's telling me that the malachite is actually converting to metal now. I think there's a bit too much oxygen going in at the moment where we've got some cracks in the furnace. Can you go and get some dirt from outside? Just bring it here, patch up some holes. And now we're into the endurance part of the process. All the time I'm working the bellows, I can keep the temperature up, and I've got to stay above at least 900 centigrade for the process to work. I think that's as much fuel as we will need to finish off. As soon as we get to the point where we don't see any more green flame, I think we've reached the end of the road. So we're looking for green. I'm seeing very, very little, if any. No green flame means all the conversion should have taken place and the malachite we put in should now be metal. But it's the moment of truth. Every time I do this is different, and there are so many variables involved. So it's only when I start getting the crucible out we find out whether all our efforts have been successful or not. Now, what do you think? Should we see what we've got?
Yeah, I think we have to.
This is going to be the moment of truth. Help me get down. Jeez, that's hot. I'll try and find the crucible. It's in there somewhere. Prize for the first person to spot it. I'm not sure. It's painful even being anywhere near this. We have had this well up over 1200, probably 1300 centigrade, I think. There is the crucible. I think what's actually happened, it has cracked. I'm going to lift it out, but I think one side has gone. I'm going to see if I can lift it out. I think it's, gosh, it has melted. The actual clay itself has melted. Good grief. Well, we're going to have to do an excavation job to find the metal. There's no way that's been destroyed, so it's all down there. We just need to find it. Even though the crucible has broken, the process itself will hopefully still have worked, and the metal created will just have spilled out and ended up in the bottom of the furnace. So I'll have to do a bit more digging to get it out, but it should still be there.
It looks gooey, like
it is. It's like toffee, hot toffee or something like that. If we can get down to the lowest level, that's where the metal will actually be. The problem I've got, I just don't know where the metal is. It'll be there because you can't destroy this stuff. It will have definitely converted. I could do a controlled quench. It's difficult now to remove any more charcoal without possibly pulling out the metal that's in the bottom of the furnace. So what I'm going to do now is use a ladle to introduce a small amount of water to quench the burning charcoal and make it easier to see where the metal is. A word of warning, this will produce a lot of steam. I can see a gleam of copper down there. Let me point it out to you. Can you see just there?
Oh, it's actually quite large.
Yeah, there's copper there. in the bottom. Okay, everything is welded together. I'm going to try and break off the tuyere from the end of the, yeah, okay.
Oh wow,
Oh,
that
yeah,
is
look.
quite a huge chunk of metal there.
I think I should get that in the bucket so we can
Yeah.
get a chance to hold it properly.
Yeah.
You can clearly see this is flowed as a liquid. It's smooth, it's quite clearly been a liquid, and it's now solidified. No doubt about it. We have succeeded. We have turned rock into metal.